Hey everyone, we have an exciting AI and Salesforce and Slack demo to show today. But most importantly, I want to introduce you to Zach. He's our go to expert for all things AI integration and Slack.
Hey everyone, excited to be here and dive into this. First of all, we're going to show you a small demo of our Salesforce and Slack solution, and you're going to be able to see how we've used automation and AI to solve a real business problem.
Then stick around and we're going to dive in a little bit deeper with Zach in a Q&A. We're going to chat about how we built it, why we built it, and what else you can do when you combine Slack, Salesforce, and Agentforce. When incidents happen, real incidents, the kind that affects people's lives, the first few minutes are everything. But too often, that's when things fall apart. Teams scramble, context is lost, the right people aren't looped in, and in those moments, delay has a cost, sometimes one that can't be undone. Critical work deserves better, so we imagined something smarter. This is OnePath AI, a real-time incident response automation framework built on Salesforce Service Cloud, powered by Agentforce, and delivered directly into Slack, where collaboration happens. The moment a case is created, OnePath AI activates automatically. Salesforce Flow begins orchestrating the response in the background. It identifies the type of incident, and it maps it immediately to a response team. Using the seamless connection between Salesforce and Slack, OnePath AI automatically creates a dedicated Slack channel, adds the response team members, and drafts a collaborative canvas using the intelligence of Agentforce. Agentforce performs the heavy lifting behind the scenes, using intelligent AI reasoning to generate the summary, timeline of key events, and action items. Additionally, Agentforce also matches key tasks to the appropriate team members, so by the time the team is notified, the case has already been assessed, summarized, and distributed. And whether your team is at the desk, in the field, or working across departments, they have immediate access to everything they need as Slack becomes the central hub for critical collaboration. OnePath AI, smarter decisions, faster action when it matters most. All right, Zach, let's start with the obvious. Now, there are so many problems we could have solved. Why do we choose this use case?
It's a great question. I think we went through a few iterations of it before we landed on the exact use case, with the main focus of wanting to build something that delivers value to a situation where time is of the essence and speed and is very, very important. As part of that, we wanted to show the power of how you could use Agentforce with Slack to save time before there's any need for a human to get involved. So that's how we landed on an incident response use case where a high priority case comes in, and then Agentforce and prompt templates, as well in tandem with Flow, get to work in the background before anyone has to get involved, and they provide a summary of the information and bring the right people into a Slack channel. This saves any need for any pre-work, or the need to provide everyone a brief, or have a meeting before we can do any action, and people can get right on with resolving the problem at hand.
Oh, exactly. And I think what's made it even better is that it's so relatable. We've all experienced having to wait on someone or, not being sure where the right info is, but this is a really smart way to resolve that issue. So let's dive into the fun stuff. How does the solution work?
In our solution, we kind of use a combination of, in terms of Slack, we use a combination of some of the configurable integration pieces and then custom Apex where required. We've got the standard Salesforce or Slack app, which can then be used in a flow and triggered when that incident is created. And within that, there's standard actions for creating a channel or adding users. But then we also have invocable Apex class for creating the Slack canvas. And this works in combination with Agentforce and Prompt Builder to provide all of that information in the one document.
Yeah, and what I love most about the solution is that Slack becomes the command center. So people aren't just chatting, they're actually resolving the issue in real time, all within Slack. So let's level it up. We've been diving deep into Agentforce a lot, but what happens when you combine it with Slack?
So I think that's what's really exciting for me. To put it simply, anything you can do with a Slack API, you can do with it, you can use in Agentforce. The way that this works is you create an invocable Apex class, and create an Agentforce action around this. This also means an invocable class can be used in Flow. And Slack has some great documentation on this with some template classes for some simple use cases that you can then use to build your own use cases around. There's also an item on a roadmap to bring Agentforce into Slack workflows. For those who don't know, Slack workflows is kind of like Salesforce Flow. It's a lightweight workflow automation, which is native to Slack. So adding the power of Agentforce to this will provide an even deeper level of integration between Salesforce and Slack, and it will be particularly powerful for the organizations that already have Slack workflows as part of their kind of day-to-day work.
Yeah, that gives us more opportunities to bring the power of Salesforce to declarative workflows in Slack. So that apex part of our solution could be replaced with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we wrap up, Zac, give us the vision. Beyond this use case, how else do you see Salesforce, Slack, and Agentforce transforming the way that we work day to day?
There's so much potential. I think one use case that I keep coming back to that is almost completely different to this, but I think you could use effectively the same structure would be for a sales team and their lead qualification process. A lead could come into the system and the agent could provide that deeper context on the prospect and then bring everyone who needs to be in a channel together to assess whether this is something that's worth pursuing. And you could then also put criteria in place that would mean certain leads never get to this point because that would be a lot of Slack channels. Um, Another one would be just any sort of case management team. IT support, for example, deals with kind of critical cases or incidents a lot, and those first minutes and hours can often just be spent bringing the data in from different systems and understanding what's happened. And if we can hand that work over to an agent, it means we can solve issues faster, which would lead to happier users and happier IT support people as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because it's real time, it's contextual, it's collaborative, it's bringing the power of Salesforce to where the people already are. All right, that's a wrap. A huge thank you to Zac for joining me today. If you have any questions about any other use cases you'd like to learn more about, send us a message. And of course, stay tuned for more Agentforce videos.